Josh Rayner was not a hero. He was just a repair worker on a small supply ship. He fixed broken machines, changed fuel cells, and ran delivery jobs between outer colonies. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. But that changed the day he saw the smoke. His ship had just landed on an empty desert moon to drop off mining parts. As he checked his tools outside, he noticed something strange in the distance. Black smoke, rising behind a ridge of red rock. There were no mining camps out that far, no settlements. Josh grabbed his scanner and climbed onto his rover. He followed the smoke for 30 minutes across sand and dust until he reached a narrow canyon. That's when he saw it. A small alien ship, crashed, twisted, half buried in the sand. The hull was torn open like paper. Heat still rose from the engine core. Something had gone wrong, very recently. Josh parked the rover and stepped carefully toward the wreck. "Hello?" he called out. "Is anyone alive?" No answer. He pulled out his torchlight and stepped inside. The ship's inside was dark. Broken wires sparked on the walls, crushed seats, a shattered control panel, and then he saw her. She was lying under a fallen beam, thin, pale, violet skin. Long silver hair across her face. Her arms were bent the wrong way. Her leg was bleeding, but her chest rose and fell. Slowly, she was alive. Josh dropped to his knees. "Hang on," he said. "You're going to be okay." He didn't care if she was alien, she was hurt, she needed help. He checked her vitals, weak pulse, fractured ribs, blood pressure falling. He used his auto cutter to lift the beam, then carefully pulled her out. She groaned. Her eyes blinked open for just a second. Bright violet. She looked at him and smiled, then passed out. Josh worked fast. He cleaned her wounds, injected her with a universal stabilizer, and wrapped her in thermal blankets. He sent an emergency signal back to his ship. No answer. The moon's comm tower was down again. Of course. "Guess it's just you and me now," he whispered. He carried her back to the rover, holding her close. She was lighter than she looked, but her body gave off a strange warmth, almost like an internal heat core. Josh placed her in the rover's medical bay and started driving back to his ship. All the way, he kept talking, not because she could hear, but because he didn't want silence anymore. He reached the ship and put her in the med chamber. The machine scanned her body and began healing her wounds. Slowly, the bleeding stopped. Her heart grew stronger. Josh sat nearby, watching. He didn't even know her name. Hours passed. Finally, her eyes opened again. She stared at the ceiling for a moment, then turned her head toward Josh. "You healed me." Josh nodded. "Yeah. You were in bad shape." She blinked slowly, then whispered something that made his skin freeze. "Now you are mine." Josh leaned back. "Wait, what?" But she was already closing her eyes again. "And my sisters will come." Then she passed out. Josh sat there confused. What did she mean? He looked at his scanner. 3 blinking lights had just appeared in the canyon, getting closer. "Oh no," he muttered. "What did I just get myself into?" Josh Rayner stared at the med chamber where the alien girl slept. Her breathing was steady now. Her wounds were healing. But her last words kept echoing in his mind. "Now you are mine, and my sisters will come." Josh checked the scanner again. 3. Red dots were moving toward his ship. Fast. They weren't drones. They weren't human. They were alive. He grabbed his blaster, just in case. He had no idea what was coming, but whatever it was coming for her. Outside, the sun was setting behind the canyon wall, painting the sand gold and blood red. Then, he saw them. 3 figures walked toward him across the dunes, tall, graceful, glowing slightly in the fading light. Each one wore different armor, different clothing. But their faces were similar, beautiful, strange, and full of purpose. Josh held his blaster up. "Stop right there." They stopped. The tallest stepped forward. Her eyes were dark violet, glowing softly. Her voice was calm but firm. "You healed our sister?" Josh nodded slowly. "I found her in the wreck. I didn't know who she was." "It doesn't matter," said the second one, younger, sharper. "The act is done. The bond is formed." Josh lowered the blaster a little. "What bond?" The third sister stepped closer, smaller, with short hair and glowing lines across her cheek. She stared directly into Josh's eyes. "You used your own life to save hers? You broke open the thread." Josh frowned. "I just gave her medicine. Stopped the bleeding." The tall one spoke again. "On our world, healing is more than repair. When one saves a royal soul, he becomes part of the royal line." Josh blinked. "Wait. Royal? She's a princess?" "Not princess," the younger one said. "Core blood. Our line leads. Her survival is sacred." Josh looked back at the ship. "She didn't tell me that." "She didn't need to," said the short-haired sister. "The bond is not chosen. It is activated." The tall one extended her hand. "You are now claimed, and we, her sisters, are included." Josh stared at her. "What does that mean?" The younger sister stepped forward, smiled, and pressed 2 fingers gently to Josh's chest. His skin tingled. His shirt glowed. For just a moment, a symbol appeared over his heart. 3 circles spinning around a single point. Then it vanished. Josh stumbled back. "What did you do?" "We confirmed what she started," said the tall one. "You're one of us now," added the youngest. "You can't run from it." Josh backed toward the ship. "I never agreed to this." The sisters didn't move. "Neither did she," the tall one said quietly. "She never asked for war. But it came. And now, because you pulled her from the fire, you're with her in it." Josh looked at the canyon, the stars above, the glowing mark that still felt warm on his chest. "So what now?" he asked. The younger sister smiled. "Now you stay alive. Because they will come again." From behind the canyon wall, the wind shifted, a low, distant rumble, and something in the sky blinked red. Josh whispered, "I don't think I fixed one girl. I think I just got adopted by a war." Josh stood in silence, breathing hard. The 3 alien sisters didn't chase him. They didn't argue. They didn't even blink. They had said their part. "You are claimed. You are one of us." And now, the proof was glowing on his skin. Back. Inside the ship, Josh ripped off his shirt and stood in front of the mirror. There it was again. The mark. 3 circles spinning around a single glowing point in the center of his chest. No pain. No injury, just light, moving beneath his skin like a living tattoo. "This isn't normal," he whispered. "What the hell did I agree to?" He checked his vitals on the scanner. Heart rate, fast, oxygen, normal, blood chemistry, changing? Wait, what? His white blood cell count was rising. His temperature was holding steady despite the cold. His bones showed signs of structural reinforcement. "They're modifying me," he realized, from the inside. Just then, the med chamber beeped. The alien girl, the one he had saved, was awake again. She looked at him, this time with full clarity in her glowing violet eyes. "The mark has appeared," she said softly. Josh nodded. "Yeah. What is it?" She sat up slowly. "It means you carry the signature of our house. You are now visible." Visible? To what? To every system, every tracker, every hunter across 6 star charts. Royal codes can't hide. They shine. Josh stepped back. "You mean I'm being tracked?" She nodded. "Yes, and not just you, all of us." He ran to the console and scanned the orbit. Multiple pings. Unknown signatures. One of them moving too fast to be a normal patrol. "They already saw the mark," Josh said. "They're coming." The eldest sister entered the ship quietly. She looked at the screen. It's begun, she said. Josh turned. You said this was a bond. You didn't say it was a beacon. She didn't flinch. It's both. Bond means protection. Beacon means responsibility. Well, what happens if I don't want either? She walked to him and pressed her hand gently over the mark. It responded, glowing brighter. Josh froze. It listens to me, she whispered. And now, to you. He looked into her eyes, and for the first time, saw no threat. Only weight, like someone who had lost too much too soon. We didn't want a new bond, she said. We wanted our sister to live. You gave her back, so now you are written into our blood. Josh sat down slowly, tired, confused. So what now? Now, said the youngest sister, appearing in the doorway. We prepare to fight or flee. But either way, she smiled. You're family now. Josh stared down at the mark glowing on his chest, and for the first time in his life, he wasn't just a repair tech, he was part of something bigger and far more dangerous. Special, longer, and more detailed. The night on the desert moon was quiet, but only on the surface. Above the clouds, something moved. Silent, black, deadly, a ship with no markings, a ship that didn't show up on scanners. Inside it were hunters, not human, not Eliari. Something else. They smelled royal code. They followed the mark, and they wanted it erased. Inside Josh's ship, the tension was rising. The alien girl, Alira, sat near the console, still weak but awake. Her sisters stood around her in a triangle. Josh paced in a corner, glancing down at the glowing symbol on his chest. This thing's not just a mark, he said. It's a damn target. The eldest sister nodded. Yes, the moment it appeared, the universe looked. So what are they? Who's coming? The youngest sister answered, voice sharper than usual. They are called the Scorchborn, machines with minds, created to eliminate our bloodline. Josh blinked. So, they're assassins? The middle sister spoke. They're worse. They don't kill for profit. They kill for silence. Suddenly, alarms blared. Multiple inbound signals. Fast. Josh rushed to the screen. 3 objects, 2 ships, 1 drop pod, all heading straight for them. Too late, he muttered. They're already here. Outside, the ground trembled. The first ship landed hard, kicking up sand like a mini explosion. The drop pod smashed into the dirt nearby, releasing smoke and heat. From it stepped 2 tall hunters, skin like black armor, eyes glowing orange. No voices, just purpose. They walked toward the ship. Inside, Josh grabbed his small blaster. He looked at the sisters. I know I'm not built for this, but I'll fight. The youngest smirked. You're not built for this, and yet. Before he could ask what that meant, she raised her hand. Her fingers glowed. She touched his mark, and everything changed. Josh gasped. Surge of heat flooded his chest. His heart rate spiked, but not in panic, in power. He looked at his arms. Faint, glowing lines now pulsed under his skin. What did you do? We accelerated your bonding, said the eldest. You now carry a fraction of our strength. Wait, fraction? But there was no time. The first hunter kicked open the door. Josh raised his blaster and fired. The bolt hit the hunter square in the chest. It stumbled, then kept walking. The sisters moved fast, silent as wind. The middle one jumped forward, blades sliding from her wrists, slashing across the hunter's shoulder. Sparks flew. The youngest sister dropped down and stabbed a glowing crystal into the floor. It exploded, sending a shockwave that knocked the second hunter back outside. Josh ducked, coughing through smoke. This isn't a rescue, he said. This is war. Then the eldest sister faced the second hunter alone. Their blades clashed, light against dark. Her body moved like water, graceful but deadly. But the hunter caught her arm, threw her across the cargo hold. Josh ran to help her. Before he could reach, the hunter turned on him. It saw the mark and charged. Josh raised his hands instinctively. A glowing barrier flashed out from his chest. The hunter slammed into it and bounced back, shrieking. Josh blinked. "What the? I have shields now?" The youngest laughed. "Told you, you're not normal anymore." Josh stared at his hands. "This is insane." "No," Alira said from behind him, standing for the first time. "This is who you are." Now. The hunters retreated, injured but not dead. The sisters sealed the door again. Everyone breathed hard. Then the eldest looked at Josh. "They will return, with more. You have a choice. Stay and be erased. Or come with us and finish what you started." Josh didn't hesitate. "Then I'm going with you. But next time," he added, looking at his glowing hands, "I want to be the one who hits first." The desert night was no longer cold. Now, it burned. From behind the canyon, black smoke and red fire rose into the sky. The second wave of scorchborn hunters had arrived, and they didn't land quietly. They dropped from the sky like comets, and they brought flame weapons designed to destroy even Eliari core blood. Josh stood on the ramp of his ship, staring into the distance. He could feel them coming. Not with sensors. With his chest. The mark was glowing again. Hotter this time, pulsing with energy that wasn't his. And yet now it was. The eldest sister, Soraya, stepped beside him. "They've set the canyon on fire. They're trying to burn us out." Josh nodded. "Then we go through it." The youngest sister, Kayla, grinned. "Through the fire?" Josh looked at her. His eyes were glowing faintly now. "Let's make them regret lighting the match." They didn't take the main path. They took the old route, through the molten rift zone, a place so hot even desert creatures refused to live there. Lava rivers. Toxic vents, shifting rock, death world level environment. But it was their only chance to lose the trackers. As they ran, heat sensors overloaded. Josh's skin burned at first, but then his veins began to cool the damage on their own. "What's happening to me?" he gasped. Kayla touched his shoulder mid-run. "Your human body is accepting our upgrades fast. You're becoming something in between." Halfway through the lava trail, they heard it. A shriek. A hunter had followed them, and it wasn't walking. It was flying now. Dark wings of plasma, eyes burning. It dove from the sky, straight at Josh. He turned, raised both arms, and shouted. The mark on his chest flashed white. A shockwave of energy exploded out of him, slamming the hunter mid-air. The beast crashed into the molten rock and vanished into fire. Everyone stopped. Even the sisters. Josh looked at his hands. Still glowing. Still alive. "I didn't mean to do that," Soraya smiled. "And that's why it worked." They reached the other side of the volcanic field just as dawn broke. Their clothes were scorched, their bodies tired, but they had made it. Josh collapsed onto a cold stone slab and stared at the sunrise. His body still hummed with strange power. Kayla dropped beside him. "You're not bad for a human." "I was just a mechanic," Josh muttered. "You still are," Soraya said. "But now, you fix people, not machines." Josh chuckled. "Yeah, and somehow I got adopted by 3 glowing alien sisters along the way." Then Alira, now fully recovered, stepped toward him. She reached out her hand. Josh took it, and the mark on his chest and her palm connected, glowing like twin stars. "You saved my life," she said. "And now, you carry our future." Josh didn't know what that meant, not yet, but deep down something told him the bond was only the beginning. The cave was deep and dark, carved into a crystal mountain that shimmered under the morning sun. The fire was gone, but the danger was not. Josh sat alone by the glowing wall, watching his reflection flicker in the crystal. The mark on his chest pulsed slowly now, no longer wild, no longer burning, but waiting. Behind him, the 3 sisters stood in silence, not as warriors, not as survivors, but as witnesses to what came next. Soraya, the eldest, stepped forward first. She bowed her head slightly and said, "You've carried our light. You've saved our blood. You've survived the trials of flame. Now we offer you the choice." Josh looked at her. "What choice?" Kayla, the youngest, stepped in now, eyes sharp, voice bold. "You can complete the bond, take the oath of joining. You will become part of our family. Fully. You'll gain full access to our link, our knowledge, our strength." Josh frowned. "And if I don't?" Alira, the one he saved, the one whose hand he once held in the med chamber, answered, softly, "Then the mark will fade, but your body will not survive the loss." Josh stood up slowly. "Wait, are you saying I'll die if I walk away?" Soraya nodded. "The bond chose you. It rewrote your blood. It opened doors inside, you that cannot close again. To walk away now would be to break what is already part of you." Josh stared at the wall. "I didn't ask for this." "None of us did," Alira said, "but life doesn't wait for permission." Silence filled the cave. The wind outside howled like an echo of all their unspoken words. Josh closed his eyes. He thought about who he was before this. A mechanic, alone, lost, just doing simple jobs to survive. And now, he wasn't just bonded to someone, he was part of something ancient, something alive. He opened his eyes. "What happens if I say yes?" Soraya stepped forward. "You speak the oath. You become one of us. Not by blood, but by flame." Kayla added, "And your name will never be forgotten across stars." Josh looked at Alira. "And with you?" She held out her hand. "Always with me." He reached out. Their hands met. The mark on his chest flared bright, blinding white. It spread across his arms, down his back, across his heart. The sisters stepped in, one by one, forming a circle around him. Their voices joined in a soft chant, low, melodic, alien, bound by fire, chosen by light, carried through war, held in trust. Josh felt it not just in his body but in his mind, a door opening, memories flowing into him, ancient visions, old battles, royal traditions, names of lost kings, and through it all, Alira's voice. "Now we are yours." When the light faded, Josh dropped to one knee, gasping, but he was not broken. He was changed. Soraya placed a glowing crystal blade at his shoulder, not to threaten, but to honor. "You are now flame-bound, guardian of the Elyari bloodline," Kayla smirked, "and officially our problem now." Josh chuckled. "I've been called worse." Alira stepped close. No more fear in her voice, only warmth. "You gave me life. Now I give you legacy." Outside the cave, the Scorchborn were still searching, but the sisters were no longer running, and Josh was no longer just surviving. He had made his choice. Now, he was ready to fight for all of them. The sky above the alien homeworld glowed silver, not with stars, but with ships. Elyari vessels, smooth, curved, alive with light, hovered over a white marble citadel that rose like a tower of crystal from the sea. At the center stood a tall platform, shaped like a flame. A ceremony was about to begin. On the platform stood 4 figures, 3 Elyari sisters, Soraya, Kayla, and Alira, and 1 human, Josh Rayner. He wore no armor, no crown, but his body now carried glowing lines beneath the skin, living, proof of the royal bond. Below the platform, thousands of Elyari gathered in silence. They had come from every corner of the system, not just to witness history, but to witness a human become legend. Josh stood still. His heart beat steady, but not because he wasn't nervous, because now it beat with theirs. He looked at Alira. She nodded, and he stepped forward. The High Flamekeeper raised a long ceremonial staff. Josh Rayner of Earth, you saved the bloodline. You carried the last spark. Do you accept the name given by the flame? Josh looked out at the sea of alien faces. He didn't see strangers anymore. He saw people he would protect. Yes, he said. I accept. The crowd shimmered, not with sound, but with light. Thousands of Eliari raised their hands, and a wave of glow moved like a tide through the crowd. Alira stepped forward. She took his hand and pressed it to her heart. By bond, by fire, by choice, we name you Solvera. Josh blinked. What does it mean? Soraya smiled. The flame that chose us. The staff glowed. Josh's mark on his chest pulsed once, then expanded. A new ring appeared around it, connecting his symbol with the three that matched the sisters. The flame circle was complete. Suddenly, the sky dimmed. From beyond orbit, a final, Scorchborn warship, black, massive, broken and rebuilt again, descended into the atmosphere. Alarms rang. The crowd turned, but Josh didn't move. Kyla asked, "Do we run?" Josh looked up. "No," he said calmly. He raised his hand. The glowing lines across his arms lit up again. This time, not with defense, but with command. 3 Eliari ships broke formation and flew into battle. Josh spoke 5 words into the bond. "Protect them. I'll handle this." The sisters looked at him, half afraid, half amazed. "You can't go alone," Alira said. Josh smiled. "I'm not alone." He touched his chest. The bond pulsed. "You're already with me." He boarded a combat glider and shot into the sky, toward the last enemy. Above the planet, lightning cracked across the clouds as the Scorchborn warship opened its hatches. Black drones poured out like hornets. Josh flew straight through them. Didn't shoot. He just reached out with both hands, and the bond ignited. A pulse of golden fire burst from him, melting drones in midair. The Scorchborn ship fired its main cannon. Josh didn't dodge. He opened his arms. The blast hit him full force and vanished, burned out by the very flame that once marked him. Inside the enemy ship, the Scorchborn AI calculated again. This wasn't just a human anymore. He was something new, something that could not be explained, only feared. Josh flew closer. He placed both hands on the hull and whispered, "Time to forget her. Time to leave us alone." The mark on his chest glowed brighter than ever before, and with one burst of pure Eliari human fire, the warship disappeared, not exploded, erased, like darkness burned away by a sunbeam. Back on the ground, the sky was calm, again. The ships returned to formation. The flame tower stood strong. Josh landed gently at the base, stepping onto the stone floor as the crowd parted for him. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. They knelt, even the elders, even the ones who once doubted. They bowed to the man who had no royal blood, but carried their fire deeper than any born to the flame. That night, by the sea, under Eliari moons, Alira sat beside Josh on a high ledge. The wind played with her silver hair. "Do you miss your home?" she asked. Josh looked at the stars. "Earth?" He thought for a second. "Sometimes, but I never belonged anywhere before." He turned to her. "Now, I do." She leaned on his shoulder. "The others will come soon, other empires, other threats." Josh nodded. "Then let them. We'll be ready." Epilogue, a statue was later built on the flame world, not of a king, not of a warrior, but of a man holding out a hand, offering help to someone unseen. The inscription read, "He healed one, he earned 3, he united millions." Josh Rayner, the human who became their fire,